in today's episode, we will look at three futuristic small cap companies for 2025. Now, in the earlier videos, we had done three good large cap, three undervalued, three mid cap. So I said one thing was missing, which was small cap. Because if you look at the small cap index has given a massive return of 26% last year. And right now, it is not even close to its 200-day moving average. It is falling down because it has gone up a lot, and even the whole market is falling down. The small cap index has given a massive rally in the last 1 year. So this has given very good returns for all the investors. Now, when we look at small cap companies, please understand that there is a big risk to small cap companies as well. But we need to look at futuristic small cap companies, those companies that will move away from being small cap, go into the mid cap and large cap territory. And for that, we will look at companies who are in the AI space, who are in the tech space, more free cash flow coming from these companies, and anyone that is doing a futuristic business, like even into data centers and cloud computing, etc. So those type of companies are what we need to focus on. Now, before we get into the video, you should also understand that AI is very important for the future. Now, the world of work, careers, and AI is evolving as fast as the stock market itself. And in fact, AI and automation are actually changing the whole trajectory of the job market. And a lot of people are losing jobs because they're not upskilling themselves in the world of AI and automation. And the future is no longer going to be about your traditional degrees or MBA programs. It is you learning different skills, different softwares about what will be required for the company in the future. And that is why it is important for all the people who are watching this video to adapt yourself and learn about AI and increase your skills in the domain of AI. But I know it is very difficult, it is very complicated, and in 2025 is the best time for you to upgrade yourself in AI. Now, that is why I'm going to recommend you this hands on AI training, which is usually a paid gig, but only for you guys, for the first 1,000 people. This is going to be completely free as a part of a New Year offering. Now, it's very simple. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment, so you can go register now. It is only free for the first 1,000 people. Now, what will you learn from this, right? You will learn how to sort complex data with AI. You will learn how to build your own brand with AI. You will learn how to get jobs with AI. You will learn how to frame business case studies and business strategies, all using AIs, and even including things like salary hikes as well. Now, this has more than 25 different tools, so it's like a one-stop shop for you to understand anything that is AI. Now, whether you're in marketing, whether you're in sales, whether you're in freelancing or product manager, this training works for everyone. And for all the people who register, the first 1,000 people, there is also a bonus of 4,999, which is included after you register for free. So basically, just register through the link that is there in the description and in the pinned comment, and you will be joined into a WhatsApp group that will basically tell you the entire process. Okay. So hope you upgrade yourself. Now let's get back to the video. Now the first small cap company we're going to look at is an IT company called Zaggle Prepaid Services. Now Zaggle is a company that a lot of big investors have also invested, and this is a small cap company that has started doing really well. And if you can see the share price that is on the video, you can also see that it has kept growing constantly, right? Now if I share this, you will see the screener tab as well. It is currently at 524. Now this video was shot on 9th of Jan. Now please understand, this video is not a buy or sell recommendation. All the companies that I'm showing you are very expensive, are very risky. They're not in a good risk reward ratio for all the normal people, or less risk averse people. So please understand, this is not a buy or sell video. I'm just going to show you what are some interesting companies in the space, and you can keep it in your watch list and keep tracking them and see how their revenue builds, right? So if you look at Zaggle, they're sitting at a 7,000 crore market cap. The P is very expensive at 101, right? Even if you look at forward P, it would be around 74, 75, because they have said they are planning to grow by 20-25%. They have also recently done an acquisition, right? So this is basically how it looks like right now. The share price has obviously kept growing. Now, if you look at the profit and loss statement very quickly, right, you will see that the company has been achieving a very good and steady growth rate over time. As you can see, this is very impressive, because even the operating profit is growing, but the margin has gone down from 16% to 9%. But they've been steady state at 9% since the last 2 years. And if you look at the net profit, it has grown from 23 to 44. This is when they came out with an IPO on 2023 is when they came out. So that's why you see the EPS has changed completely. And 23 to 70 is what they've reached right now, which is trailing 12 months. And if you see the max chart over here, you will see that they came out with an IPO of 158 rupees. Right now, after 1.5 years, they're sitting at 525 rupees. So this has actually done really well, and this is growing. They're a very high capitalized company at 605 crores reserves and barely any borrowings, right? And if you look at the cash flow of the company, they do have good cash flows coming in as well. And most of the cash flows, as you can see, is going into working capital. And if we look at, since they don't have fixed assets, it's gone into other investing items, right? Now, coming down, we will see the shareholding pattern of this company. And if we see the public shareholding, you will see all the big names are currently sitting here. So you have Ashish Kacholia here as well, who had taken a very big stake into this company right at the beginning, right? And we have very good FIIs, DIIs, everyone into this. But what does Zaggle do, right? For us to understand a little bit more on the financial terms and try to understand what this company does, Zaggle basically is a tech platform that helps with companies in expense management, right? So there's a lot of problems in the expense management space. So if you look at, they have different platforms like Zaggle Propel, Zaggle Save, Zoyer, Zati, and they're also into fleet management, international payments as well. So anytime there is payment management happening, Zaggle comes into that picture. So if I show you their investor presentation, you can see here how the corporates, how many corporates they have. They have around 3,200 corporates they've tied up. They have more than 3 million, and then they take like a small transaction fee, or they take a small management fee or a service fee on it for the things that they provided. Now, coming back to this, coming back to the screen now, if we go into the notes, you will also see that it may go down, right? They have partnered up with people like HDFC, Ergo, BNP Paribas, AMC. Their growth strategy is also pretty good. And right now, most of the revenue of Zaggle is coming from the Indian entity itself, right? Most of it is coming from India. It is not coming a lot from the outside players. So that is why there's a huge scope for this company to expand into international markets. And they have guided a 50% growth rate in the next 1 year. Now, again, please take all management guidelines just as an understanding purpose. Don't just look at this and say, Shashank, I'm going to invest because 50% is crazy. Might happen, might not happen. But because we were in a bull run and everyone is in euphoria, there is a chance that sometimes you cannot reach this target as well. But again, take everything with a grain of salt. We will just look at the fundamentals of this company. And they are, as I said, into AI. I mean, not technically AI, but they are into an AI enabled bot. They're the number one issuer of prepaid cards in India. And all of this is happening. As you can see, they have pretty much almost everything that is there with respect to India. Now, coming to the risk of this company, right? Now, if you look at the risk, most of this company currently is operating in India, which is completely fine. So if corporates start doing well, Zaggle will start doing well, because employee expenditure will also go up, corporate expenditure will also go up. So that is one good thing. Another good thing is they are now expanding into the US market. And if they expand into the US market and actually crack it, that will again be very amazing for all of us, right? But now, coming to the antithesis, what are the problems, right? And I've made a I mean, I've made a sheet here which I've written the antithesis as well. And you can see, first of all, please understand, there's nothing unique about this company, right? Yes, they have customers, they have a platform, but it's expense management. It is not something new, it is not reinvented. Anyone and everyone can create an expense management tool. Now, it is just about who partners up with companies, how good is the software, and whether they ensure that the companies are good or bad. That's it, right? It is all about this. But it is not something that is very unique that cannot be disrupted in the future. Second is, they have a lot of reliance on bank partnerships. Third, even if they go abroad and they go to international markets, again, it is very difficult because there are 50,000 players in the international markets as well doing expense management. So as I said, it is not something that is very unique, and that you can actually see in the company as well. Because if you see, whenever there's a company that is not unique, they don't have a very good profit margin, right? So even though this company is transacting around 1,000 crores in revenue, they're only doing 9% operating profit margin, and even lower, around 7 on their net profit margin for being an IT based company. So as you can see, it is good to keep it in your watch list. Why? Because the growth rate is impressive, and the management has been growing quite impressive as well. But again, time will tell whether it's a very good company or not. But we will keep an eye on it, or we will keep a track on it. So that is the main agenda of this. Yeah. Now, guys, the second company that we're going to look at is a hospital-based company called Yatharth Hospital. Now, why am I looking at Yatharth Hospital? I'll explain. This is a 5,000 crore company sitting at 39p, so not very expensive. Because if you look at all the other hospital companies right now, they're sitting at very, very, very premium valuations. And if we go down, we will see that the company has been growing well. And recently, the company has taken a massive dip, mainly because they did a QIP right now, which is qualified institutional placement, where they've raised money for equity, right? So they've got some kind of a dilution. But if you look at this company, it is obviously in the hospital chain. It is more in the north side of India, which is in Noida, Greater Noida. And I've even asked people who are staying in these regions, have you heard of this hospital? They've said, yes, we see advertisements everywhere, we see hoardings everywhere, and they have been growing. Obviously, I've not been there, so I don't know. They have around 7 hospitals in North India, and 87% of the beds are there itself. Now, they're also doing an insane amount of expansion. So please understand, for hospitals, it is a number of beds you have, and what is the average revenue of bed that you get, and also the length of stay. So these are the three very important parameters in a hospital, right? How many beds, how many beds are occupied and how many beds are occupied for a longer period of time. If you look at their investor presentation, you will see that one of their hospital in Greater Noida has 66% occupancy, which is not bad at all from any angle, and they have around 34,000 average revenue per occupied bed, and the length of stay is also 4.49 days. So anyone who gets admitted, average days of stay is around 4.49. The longer this is, the longer the revenue goes up, then it's even better for you. Same with Noida, 83% occupancy, 28,000 revenue per bed, and 5 days of stay. And Noida extension is 60% occupancy, 37 and 4.5 days of stay. You can see that the Greater Noida and Noida extension, they usually are in the slightly premium category, and that is why you see more revenue coming from these places. Now, what Yatharth is doing and why I like this company is because they are doing an expansion. Now, whenever companies do expansion, like for example, hospitals do expansion, number of beds increases, and over time, the occupancy goes up to 50-60% levels. The average revenue per bed also goes up, and they start making good amount of money. So these guys are also now, as you can see in Delhi, they're coming up with a 300 bed hospital. Delhi is a premium space. Faridabad, a 400 space hospital coming as well. Now they have other hospitals which is Jhansi and Greater Faridabad, but here they've not got very good occupancy levels yet. But they've recently raised a lot of money to now expand into it. So as of now, they have around 2,100 beds. Their average revenue per bed is 30,000. Their occupancy is 61%. Inpatient and outpatient is around 588 is mainly inpatient value, which is also very, very, very good, right? So coming here, the capex per bed is around 44 lakhs, which is not very expensive. I mean, it's okay. But again, if you compare it to other people, they are obviously operating at much better levels. And IPO, they also went in 2023. And as you can see, from that IPO price of 330, they had gone to a peak of 670, and now they're back to around 530. And they recently did an what is a QIP for that as well. Now, if you look at their revenue, just like how you see in hospital companies, they have very slow but good growing revenue, peaceful growing revenue as they call it. They have weirdly maintained their operating profit margin, which is a very good sign. Not weirdly, but it is a good sign. And if you look at their EPS, it has also been growing, not very aggressively, but very slowly, but it has been growing. And as I said, this is a longer play because hospitals are not something that tomorrow you will get up and see that the hospital stocks have gone up quite drastically. They grow over time. They finish the beds, they increase it, they remove their loan, create more beds. That is how the hospital business works. So this is more from a long term angle because after the IPO, they could reduce their borrowings completely, giving them more space to take little more debt and expand. They have huge amount of reserves, and even now they recently did a QIP to take more money in. So they're going to be very, very, very well capitalized to start growing. So if you see a company with less debt, who needs debt to grow, but now they have less debt, that means more capital allocation will go into debt, and they will start buying hospitals or they will start expanding as well, which I think they're currently doing also. And if you look at the shareholders, there's Think India, which is a very Think India was there, but right now it's not there. But if you look at all the others, they have good amount of DIIs, good amount of FIIs playing into this as well. So all in all, it looks like a very good company, and this can be a very good bet. Not again for like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. This is a bet which is 4, 5, 6 years into the future. So it only depends on that. And even here, if you see one of their peer comparison, they made a very good sheet over here. So they made a peer comparison of how fast they're growing. So they're growing at 29% right now compared to all their peers. But please understand the base is also low. Yatharth is not operating at a very big base, so that is why the growth rate looks good. Eventually, once they become as big as the others, the base will also saturate, right? But the return of capital employed today is very good. The only ones better are Narayana Hrudalaya and Max Healthcare. But basically, this is what is going on right now. And if you look at their con call summary, as you see, I made this nice document for me to learn. The con call summary looks like they're saying that their profit growth will go about 30% year on year. They have recently done a 350 bed acquisition as well. So all of this is coming into very good zone. Antithesis, competition, dependence on key personnel and regulatory environment, nothing else. This is mainly what it is. Now, the third and final company that we're going to look at is Orin Pro, sitting at 9,600, again in the IT space, decently valued at 58.9, not extremely cheap, but this has been growing quite drastically in the last few years. Earlier, it was not growing, but right now it's growing very well. And this is basically focusing a lot, it was focusing a lot on the BFSI space, which is banking and financial institutions. So they have banking and fintech, which is one of their biggest thing, but they also now have gone into other sectors as well. So if you look at the document, so they were into banking and payment services, which basically gives them 72% of the company's revenue. But now they've diversified into smart city, transit solutions, data center and cloud hybrid solutions as well. And now data center solutions is already providing 15% of revenue for this company. So they have now started investing in the futuristic technology. Earlier they were only in banking, but now they started going abroad as well. Earlier they were only doing India, and now they're expanding abroad, trying to go into different places as well. So again, this company has been doing well recently, not something that was doing well all the time, but recently this is doing well. And they're also rolling out some data centers, providing consultancy and assistance for data centers that are rolling out as well. Now if you look at this company, they've been on a massive growth path, and even after having a massive growth path like this in the last 5 years, it has gone up a lot. The revenues have also sustained similarly. That's why the P is constantly being adjusted, right? So if you look at the profit and loss statement, you will see in the last 5 years only there is growth. After COVID, you will see there's a very good jump in the growth rate, very good jump in the operating profit margin, which was around fluctuating at 9, 19, 23. Now they've got a fixed this one. And if you look at their growth, that has also kicked in slowly, right? Now again, these are all companies that are very high risk. As you can see, it is not some cheap company. It is a high risk company, but they're very well capitalized with the reserves and that is not a problem at all right now. Now second thing, you'll also notice that the promoter holding has gone down from 30 to 26, but the FII holding has gone up quite drastically over here. As you can see, the promoter holding has gone down, which is mainly Paresh Chandulal Zaveri has taken a small exit over here, and that has gone down, including the other founders as well. And you can see Malabar and Goldman Sachs and all are currently invested. Goldman Sachs came very recently, I think in June 2024 itself they've come in. So they've sold some stake to it when it was at the peak, right? But this company is currently doing very well, and it's very interesting right now, and they have been growing quite drastically into a lot of spaces. Now they have basically categorized themselves into two different sectors, right? One is banking and fintech, which is their core, and then they have the technology innovation group, which is where they have the transit solutions and the cloud computing and all of that. I mean, not cloud computing, but cloud services, hybrid cloud services and all of that. And if you see the H1 FY25 revenue, they've got 305 crores, which is 56% coming from this. And now it has gone up to 44% on the tech innovation group. Eventually, the goal is to make the tech innovation group get more revenue than the banking and fintech, because that is the futuristic segment, not this. They also have an order book of 1,100 crores, and this is all going to slowly start playing out in the next few years. And they have been growing quite well. They have been growing with good EBITDA margins. So this looks very interesting. So guys, these were the three companies that we're looking at in the small cap space for futuristic 2025. And as you can see, all of them have very good triggers in the future, not today. It is a 5 to 10 year play, but nothing that is happening in the next 3 months or 6 months. Now, again, as I said, this is not a buy or sell video because their valuation is premium, and it is something that a lot of factors can go wrong. The risks are also massive. So I would strongly suggest that do your own research before investing, and don't depend on this video to understand and invest blindly. Now, if you have any more questions, any more doubts, put it in the comment section below. And if you have three stocks which you feel are very good for the future, small cap companies, put it in the comment section below so all of us can learn together as well. And if you want to learn more about the community, I have a community where we're tracking 11 stocks that I've invested in as well, which is called the Stars 2025. So that is in the community section. So if you want to join the community and I give regular updates every single week, you can join the community as well. And don't forget about the free AI training workshop. This is me, Shashank, signing off. Take care. See you guys. Bye.